Hello, friends. I am John, and I am the 3D 80s kid. Hello, friends, and welcome to episode 13. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about inspiration in my collecting that I got from watching other YouTubers. There is a lot of good stuff that people are showing on their various channels. Some of these things range into really expensive cards way beyond anything I could possibly afford, down to ultimate bargains that anybody can possibly pick up. These examples I'm going to give today are more in that second category. The first of which, there was a lot of videos made by folks, too many for me to name without forgetting any of you, on Clemente Day, celebrating Roberto Clemente. And one in particular just struck me. The fact that I did not yet own a Roberto Clemente card was something that, after watching his video, I just felt compelled to remedy. And this would be Lou Rock TV, who did a full run of his Clemente cards, all of at least the standard issues. I'm sure you have plenty more we didn't see in that video with all the different side oddball type sets that you could collect as well of that player. But I went for a straight version of Roberto myself. As most of you know who've seen any of my videos, I am a huge fan of 1960 tops. I've actually pondered purchasing the Clemente card from that year multiple times, and every time something just stops me. I can't get over the Bob. It's just wrong that his name got whitewashed by Topps for so many years. Ultimately, I just could not pull the trigger on getting that card, even though it's beautiful. The Bob just sticks in my craw, and I just couldn't stand to have that on my shelf with that name on there. So what I did end up getting is what I have kind of selected as my secondary set to collect, which ends up being 1972 Topps. This guy's a little OC, but that's okay, right, Lou? OC cards need love too. This one is just a brilliant picture with him tossing the ball like that. Just the style of the 72s just strikes me as so of that era with the 3D font. And then having his name in full the way it's meant to be. I did take 2 years of high school Spanish, but I never was able to trill the R's and say his name properly. So as far as I'm concerned, just ruffles have ridges, if any of you get that reference. So, but this is just a beautiful card. Looks, most of that negative score is the OC. It's got little crinkles in the corners, but the color and the picture are just so vibrant. So this one was well within my purchasing range, and I just had to get myself a Roberto Clemente card because that was a gaping hole in my collection that needed to be filled. So thanks, Lou, for inspiring this purchase. And the next one was just a random pickup video I was watching from Picker Jim S, where he was showing a whole bunch of raw cards that he had purchased, and one of them just struck me back and sent me down a rabbit hole of research. He had a 1941 card that was of Dick Kaufman, and It's spelling of Coffman. And as it turns out, that is my last name. And so I was then on the hunt. How many major leaguers have my exact last name? And the answer to that was 3. Dick, or Richard Kaufman, was the first major leaguer with my last name. Had a relatively average career to mediocre at best. Played from 1927 to 1945. The one career highlight to speak of that I saw anywhere was the fact that in 1936, he interrupted the 16-game winning streak that Lefty Grove was on. They pitched a 16-inning game, both players staying in for that long, and he was able to get the victory over Lefty Grove and interrupted that 16-game winning streak. So I ended up making the purchase of what is his rookie card, which is from 1933 Gaudi. This one is just beautiful with the blue color in the background. Anyone out there know anything about the fact that it appears like he has a black eye? I tried to do research on that and came up completely empty. I would love to know if there's a story behind that. I've never seen a baseball card where they showed a picture of somebody that looked like they had a black eye like this. But Richard's career was just where he went from team to team. He went back and forth between the St. Louis Browns and the, I think it was the Detroit Tigers multiple times, or was it Washington Senators? He never really stuck very long for anywhere, but he hung around all the way from 27 to 45. Funny thing on the back of this card, it actually says that is elongated young man, because he was 6 feet 1.5 inches. So if they think that's elongated, what would they have thought about Randy Johnson? The back of this card's pretty nice. I imagine I'll be sending this one and these next couple in to SGC in a future grading video, but for now, we're just going to admire them raw. But that is my Richard, a.k.a. Dick Kaufman rookie card. Next one is actually Richard's younger brother. This is George. His rookie is from 1939 play ball, and he went by the nickname of Slick, but apparently he was not too slick because his career lasted all of 3 seasons from 1937 to 1940. I think his WAR number is actually a negative number. He was a mediocre relief pitcher that did not last very long. So here's the back of his 1939 play ball rookie card. I know there's glare. Sorry about that. And the third and final Kaufman in Major League history was actually a more recent player. This is his 1988 Topps traded Tiffany, Kevin Kaufman, who is also a mediocre relief pitcher. So 3 Kaufmans, 3 pitchers, none of them that outstanding. He only stuck around for 3 seasons in the majors as well. Because of that, I sprang for the Tiffany version of his card as my very first ever Topps Tiffany card in my collection, because it cost me all of $1.50 since he's such a megastar. So as you can see, it's got the nice coloring on the back of that. Got a glossy finish to the surface on the front, but Mr. Kevin Kaufman was number 3. So when I went down the rabbit hole of this too, I tried to explore whether there was any chance of any of these guys actually being related to me, and it kind of came up empty. consulted with my second cousin, who they did a genealogy project on our family a while back, and my great-grandfather was actually in California, like where I grew up, but then his family was traced back to Missouri, and both of these Kaufmans came out of Vito, Alabama. So the earliest possible match in our lineage would have to be at least 5 generations back. So it is not something that our family has tracked back that far. So it seems doubtful that we are related. The name Kaufman is not completely uncommon. It's of German derivation, although this is an American spelling. One thing I learned also with the names is there's a myth that places like Ellis Island and other places where lots of the people were coming into the country was where they misspelled people's names, and that's how they ended up with new American spellings. It turns out that myth is false, and it was actually the fault of the ship registries, because everyone that traveled overseas on a ship had to be on the registry for that ship, and then that is what got handed to the immigration authorities, and that's where the errors mostly occurred. And the immigration folks actually tried their best to correct the mistakes made by the people involved with the ship. So also for fun, I did look up a few of other YouTubers to see how many folks matched their name. Adam, Vintage Sanctuary, if you're going to do this project, I'm sorry, you've got 35 folks with your last name. Doug Kahn, you have one person that had your last name, but their entire career consisted of one game and one run scored as a pinch runner, and they never had a card. They appeared in a single game in 1930. So, sorry about that. But the other ones where I know the last name, Mangini, he just recently had a major leaguer. I think it was in 2012. Matt, I think was the name, Matt Mangini. And Mike Moynihan had a Mike Moynihan with an A, but no one matching his last name spelling with an I. So, watching YouTube videos can send you into research rabbit holes that are get deeper and deeper the farther you go along. But ultimately, I enjoyed this journey. I found out something new. I own my first pre-war cards, of which both of these are. And in case you were wondering, yes, I did smell them, because I've heard many people talk about how the pre-war cards just smell different. And yes, they smell different. It's a different smell. Smelling the 1950s and 60s cards does not smell that much differently from my 80s collection. But yeah, there is a different smell from something from the 1930s. So with that, hope you enjoyed the episode, and thanks for watching.